Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another round of Rush Racing League, and we are back in the Principality of Monaco for round 16 of Rush's Div 5 Season 10 Championship. And Monaco has surprisingly been pretty action-packed considering the nature of the beast, the nature of this street circuit. So it should be a good time here tonight. It'll be short quality, then we will have a quick lobby reset because of the nature of the track. Ghosting is enabled during quali. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and alongside me tonight is the one, the only Phoenix. How you doing tonight, mate?
I am doing well. I mean, I've watched the races at Monaco. It's a lovely night race. So that it's always something different watching a night race. But from what I believe, no divs have yet to pull out a safety car or a VSC here at Monaco. Even betting it in the middle of the road doesn't seem to trigger one. Will Div 5 change that?
That is a very good question, and a question we will have answers to coming up in a bit. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and just take a look at the picturesque night track here momentarily. It's gonna be I love this track. It's granted overtaking on this track is pretty tough, but it is a good night overall. And I mean honestly, like seeing this track at night makes me want to make this a night race in the real life Formula One. It's well lit enough. So we do have 15 drivers on the grid, one of which has a quali ban, and I will go ahead and let Phoenix go ahead and take away our drivers.
Well, starting at the top, you have Krojag and Connor being in the two Mercedes, Chungus and in the Red Bulls, Uncle Morty and Noah Huni in the Alpine, Bobby being the lone Ferrari for the time being, Obi-Wan Kenobi being the lone McLaren. You've got Milano being the only Racing Bull, Shining Swarm, the only House. You've got both the Williams of Sirotkin and, of course, Khaus. Sorry. You've got the only kick of TNT Legend and both of the Aston Martins as Wolfer and Paul in Hell.
And this is going to be a good night here tonight. One quali ban in Shining Swarm. He will go ahead and take the quali ban here tonight in Monaco, which is going to be a tough one for the lone Haas driver on the night, because Haas are pretty much fighting for P8 in the constructors right now in Div 5, only separated by just 8 points here on the night. So this should be an interesting one, especially because Monaco, it's doable. It's not impossible, but it's pretty darn close to impossible to get overtakes done at the Principality. So it should be a really, really fun night here. I love this track at night. But we have seen some drivers make some pretty risky overtakes, and some of them have actually really paid off. Now, some of the key spots on this racetrack, as we'll follow the driver, who pretty much all but has this championship locked out at this point, unless we see a generational bottle from this man. TMT Legend currently leading the Drivers' Championship, and I mean, if he doesn't get it this week, he'll most certainly get it next week in Zandvoort, unless, once again, a generational bottle, which he's already hitting walls, so that might derail things a bit, as TMT Legend is currently at 270 points in the Drivers' Championship here. Sorokin is going to jump up to the top of times with a 1 minute 12 to kick things off here in quali. His teammate Khaus is the only one that's really in mathematical contention to really contend with TMT Legend at 223 points. A good solid 47 points is going to be the gap in between them. But we all know that everybody else is also looking at everyone else is looking at the overalls, which Alpine still do lead by quite a healthy margin. In the Constructors' Championship for Div 5, it is still the Alpines leading at the moment. So when it comes down to the championships, Phoenix, do you think that TMT Legend could clinch it here tonight?
Who knows? Khaus could live up to his unfortunate little, what you call it, nickname. Sorry, I'm trying to get a driver in.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I still do have my ongoing bet. I do have my little bet going on for if Khaus manages to get P2 in the 3 remaining rounds of the season. I do have a running bet at the moment, so well, I mean, I kind of want to see it, but at the same time, I need to see Khaus, probably for his own sanity, get anything but a P2 for his own sanity. But a P2 ahead of TMT Legend would actually, I think, prevent TMT from being able to clinch the championship here tonight. So I think, in general, we should be in a pretty decent spot. So just taking a look at things here, I'm going to do some quick calculations here, but I okay, so I think what would have to happen is that I think Cows would have to finish pretty low down for it. He would have to get a DNF actually, I think, and TMT to win for the championship to be clinched here tonight. As we go ahead and continue on here, so it's pretty big gaps around the field, kind of expected with Monaco, just because I mean at least at this stage in a Monaco qualifier, because it's a lot of people. It takes people time to find their groove on this track. It is very pointy, very much a you even as so much as breathe wrong, you're cooked on this track. So, Phoenix, how was your experience on this track? Because I know you were actually on the verge of racing tonight.
I have a certain team principal who's racing tonight, which basically gives you the straight answer. I'm pretty sure there's only one TP racing tonight, nipping at my heels to race at Monaco. But given my track record, I am half glad and half disappointed that I could not get coverage for tonight. But I do think one hot spot we could see people bin it in is that chicane and perhaps swimming pool, as we've seen that take a few lives of the drivers.
Oh, speaking of it, just took a whole front wing off a Crowjag as he has binned it. And I think
My
you kind
bad.
you spoke the I think you practically spoke that one into existence. Although actually you might have gotten that one a bit earlier on. I was trying to do some mathematics here, but yeah, this is gonna be a interesting one. So okay, here's the mathematics as it sits right now. So the gap currently in the drivers' championship here in Div 5 is currently sitting at a cool 47 points. If TMT Legend improves that gap to 54 points or more, he will win the championship. So let's see how many points does he need to outscore Derby to win the championship at the moment. So doing some quick mathematics, he would need to outscore Kaus by an additional 7 points. So that is, if he outscores Kaus by 7 points or more tonight, then the Drivers' Championship will be sealed. So, and I'm hearing that Crowjack has actually been having a wheel issue. That is very suboptimal for Monaco.
Yeah. And because even missing an end plate, I think of one of the sides you can feel it more than the others. Oh, and I've almost got a driver in. So I'll be death screen. Fuck. No, sorry.
All right, so Rockin's gonna go and make his way through, and actually, I'm gonna jump aboard Paul and Helen. We'll go ahead and talk through a lap. So, we just witnessed him go through Saint Devoc as he's making his way up the hill. Very nicely done through this set of corners, coming under crane, going onto the casino corner, and making the run down into the hairpins here. And this is a really tricky section of racetrack. This is probably where most of the time is gain or lost, if depending on how you just take that hairpin. Running a bit wide, and then gonna go ahead and make his way through the famous Monaco tunnel. And then he's gonna go ahead and just burn it all down, coming through the tunnel, coming into the Noville chicane, one of the easiest chicanes to bin it at. And I believe I have just lost my co-host.
EA is deciding to treat me with a little bit of disdain.
Alright, so, and yep, upon how I actually picked a really weird spot on the track to park it. As he goes through. And are you going to need another invite back, Phoenix? As Dilby tops the times with a 1:11.407.
I might, I still might have one. Give me a second.
Alright, we shall see. So actually, funny enough, if Khaus get to P2 tonight, the dream lives on in this championship. He's still gonna hold on. The championship will at least go to Zandvoort. So we'll see. And Crojack's car is bouncing all over the place here. It's like we have a WRC car here. In the, I mean, there is a rally stage that takes place on the Monaco Grand Prix circuit. Khaus jumps up to the top of the time, a 1:10.842, half a second clear of Dilby. TMT Legend, though, his championship rival, the driver he is trying to chase down, currently sitting at 1.3 seconds back. So this is looking very nice. This is very nice here. If you are Khaus or if you're a Williams driver.
Could one acquire an invite at some point?
Once I finish the lap here on Crojag, I'll go ahead and try to get Phoenix back into the session, as EA likes to do EA things on occasion. Crojag coming to the line now. What's this time going to be? He is going to jump up into P6, and I will go ahead and grab an invite. I have a bunch of friends on here. So there we go. We got Phoenix back in invite as Monaco Grand Prix qualifying is underway. As one Williams is doing pretty nice and the other one is missing a end plate. So, and the both Williams are going to do synchronized swimming into the pits. Very satisfying. Okay.
Oh, please don't put me in a car.
Oh, Phoenix is racing tonight anyway. We have onboard cams. I'm kidding. That has happened to me once, actually. Well, not to me in particular. It's happened to somebody I was commentating with at one point. They actually did accidentally get put in a car during a session rejoin, and I got one of the funniest clips ever of a Baku crash. But as we continue on with the final 5 minutes of quali here in Monaco. Now, tomorrow night, when we do Div 3 will have a few different things that will be different. We are expected to have a full quali attendance depending, so we might see 3 stages of quali here in Monaco, which will be interesting because it's I don't think I've actually covered a full quali here this season. I at least don't remember. If I do, it's been a very long time. So we'll see. Bobby now coming across the line. He'll go to begin another lap here. Currently at 1:29. That's definitely not representative because he had a faster lap on the board already. So here we go. Bobby's going to go ahead and continue to make his way through the Monaco Grand Prix circuit in the Ferrari. I feel like Ferrari is like a team that needs a Monaco special. I just never seen them with a Monaco special. As Bobby is improving his times, just behind him, Kongbus is looking to get his first time on the board as well. So just kind of going to switch between the two. Bobby makes his way to the tunnel. Kongbus, it looks like he went a bit deep into the hairpin, it looks like. So he's going to go ahead and just try to burn everything down here. As we do see Bobby going ahead and making his way through. Kongbus going to try to follow suit. going through the Noville chicane. And we do have Cooper joining us, so I think that's actually a driver who, I think that'll be driver number 16 on the night. And then we're going to see here if Kung Bus can go ahead and, was that an end plate? I think, oh yeah, he's got both of his end plates gone. So that's going to be a tricky one for the Red Bull. He's still going to try to push this at a time because there will be a penalty if he doesn't. He'll push the line, he'll get a time on the board, but it's going to keep him in a P14, and he's crashed out of the session. Kung Bus is out. He's binned it into St. Devock. We have lost Kung Bus. So that is, now we're down to 13 drivers here in the session.
Yeah, and I've managed to get back in, and I've managed to get an invite to the driver who wasn't invited to the session to start with as well. So all is good at the moment, and hopefully this is the last of EA's shenanigans as we now wait for rush time to hit in full swing.
As it is indeed about to hit in full swing. It's gonna be a crazy time here in the streets of Monaco.
Oh, and we have picked up the last Ferrari as well. We've got Cooper, who has finally managed to join.
Alright, so we'll see. He'll probably have pretty much just have to hurry up, put a setup on it, and get out on a lap. He doesn't really have a whole lot of time here to get going. As we do see a few drivers going out and getting ready to begin their laps. Sorokin is going to go ahead and try to wrap up his lap here. What's his time going to be? He's going to make his way across the line. Good enough for P2. It's a Williams front row lockout. Crucially ahead of TMT legend, who is currently sitting in P3. And, ooh, the Div 3 battle. Or, sorry, Div 3. I'm already thinking about tomorrow. Div 5. The Div 5 championship battle is heating up here. Championship leader in P3. Not Div 3, P3. Maybe next season, but currently P3. Sorokin is going to be... He's got to become a minister of defense here to protect Khaus.
Yeah, and we've got most of the drivers on 11, with the gap to the top being, I have no clue. Quite a lot though, I think, to the top. So we are now approaching the final, we're in the final minute, sorry.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a few drivers already pushing out on the laps here. What about Sorokin? Sorokin is not on a push lap. What about the Constructors Champions? Or the soon-to-be overall champions here of Alpine. Alpine having a bit of a topsy-turvy, and as Noah actually splits the Williams, and he's going to make TMT's championship push that much harder. As we're going to go through Uncle Boney now, making his way through the hairpin. And I'm curious to see if we are going to go ahead and see any further improvements. Is there anyone you want to go on onboard lap with, Phoenix, as we go ahead and continue on here in Monaco for qualifying? Oh, Noah went deep. You can actually park there.
I was going to say Khaus, he's invalidated. I mean, sorry, I've got none. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, Milano is now coming through swimming pool. Doesn't invalidate it. There has to be careful on the exit. Clean exit. Now coming up into corner, I want to say 18. And coming through corner 19, I believe, and flooring it down the straight. Will Milano improve? Yes, up into P7 for the time being.
We'll see now. As TMT legend, he makes it up in the provisional pole. Where can Cupro sit? Cupro, the driver who joined in late, he'll come in P15. And unfortunately, that will be the only lap he can get into. Sorokin now, can he help his teammate out? No, he cannot. Is Noah going to make things difficult for TMT legend? That's going to be the question. I don't know. It cut away at the last moment. No, he will remain in
Nope.
P3. So the championship leader, the driver who only needs to outscore Khaus by 5 points, he can get 6. He can actually get all 7 of those here tonight. We'll see as we go ahead and go through. So it is going to be TMT Legend ahead of Khaus, Noah, Sorokin, Dilby, Uncle Morty, Milano, Crowjag, Woofa, Paul and Hell, Connor, Romy One Kenobi, Bobby, Kungbus, and then Kupro, and then the Qualiban of Shining Swarm. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick step back as it is going to be a quick lobby reset. We're going to put the startup screen back on here, and then we will join back when we get go. Actually, you know what? We'll watch this we'll watch the quote race
The
start.
chaos. We got to watch the chaos of everyone retiring. It's the funnest part of a lobby reset.
Yeah, so.
But there is ghosting, so they can't bin it into each other. They have to bin it in the walls.
Okay, well, here's another thing. Yeah, so it's a day race here in Monaco at the moment, so we already know something's a little goofy.
Oh, the sun. It burns.
Apparently, Phoenix is now a vampire.
I am training to be one, so.
What does that not surprise me?
It's called a Certificate 3 in Pathology Collection.
That's a lot of words that, even though I have a master's degree, I don't know what any of those mean. Okay, I'm kidding. But it is going to be a kind of a chaos start here in Monaco. We see those 5 red lights coming up on the gantry. And it is a lights out, and everybody's going to go ahead and bin it into each other.
From the start.
Yeah, so
everyone's got
in case anybody
into corner 1.
in case anybody is curious, this is not the actual race start.
Oh, Chungbus is. Oh no, Chungbus has left the session. Oh, someone binned it into the hairpin.
So, for context, everybody, this is not the actual race start. There is going to be
We have a safety car.
There is a lobby reset that is going to happen here. It's just going to be a quick lobby reset because we turned ghosting on for quali, and we will be disabling it here. As TMT Legend will be your driver's champion of the world as Khaus is DNF'd. I'm kidding. No, not yet. Now, however, here's something worth noting. If TMT Legend does outscore Khaus by by 7 or more points, he will win the driver's championship here tonight. So, he can win the championship at this point. There it is.
He straight lines the wall.
So,
and now?
The way
press the hand.
The way that he can win the championship here is if he actually there's a lot of ways, but I'll give you some of the more likely ones. If Khaus continues being a P2 merchant and TMT Legend gets fastest lap and driver of the day, then he will have just enough points. Actually, no, correction. He needs 8 points, I think, to actually go ahead and do it. So we're going to take a quick step back, and then we're going to go ahead and bring you all the action when we actually get racing here in Monaco. We'll be back, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Don't worry, we are not doing the intro again. It is time now for the actual Monaco Grand Prix. As we do have the lobby reset, we're loading back in, and we're going to go ahead and see how all this plays out. So just to remind everybody of the championship standings, I was kind of crunching some numbers behind the scenes here. So if my math is correct, if TMT Legend outscores Khaus by 8 or more points, then the championship goes his way. If Khaus, as much as this is going to pain us to say it, if Khaus becomes a P2 merchant again, he can still be in contention for the championship. If Khaus finishes P2, there is no way that TMT Legend will win the title tonight. Because he needs to outscore him by 8 points or more. And currently, at the moment, the best that he can get with Khaus being in P2 is 7. Because that would have to include him being the cleanest driver and getting the fastest lap at Monaco. So we're going to go ahead and jump to the racing circuit now as, there's the beautiful night race that we all know and love. It is Monaco time. And Phoenix, how are you feeling about tonight?
I am excited. It's another night race I get to cover. And I covered the reserve program, and I was sad when I realized it was already the last lap. I was really enjoying myself. But I'm going to put you on the spot, per normal, because I got to it first. Any bold predictions for the race?
Ooh, bold predictions. I am going to say that my bold prediction for the Monaco Grand Prix is that we will see cars on track. I'm kidding. All right, I'll let you take the restart, then I'll give you my prediction.
Restart. 5 red lights are out, and away we go here at the Monaco Grand Prix. TMT, there's a yellow flag already. Someone sent something in the back, but the front few cars can't. Oh, too wide. Okay, look.
3 wide here coming up the first couple of corners.
That's recipe for disaster. And that's the first league that hasn't had a clean lap one, really, going.
Oh my lord.
Can you guys stop trying to go 3 wide in really locations? As Khaus gets a good start and has jumped quite a bit on TMT Legend, now flooring it through the tunnel.
And this is pretty much the start that Khaus would have needed here at the Monaco Grand Prix. We saw cars going 3 wide into a run up to the. I mean, coming out of. They say no heroics going into Saint Devac, which is that first corner there, the first right-hander. We definitely saw a lot of heroics, and we saw even a McLaren get sandwiched by 2 Aston Martins going up the hill. So we have seen some pretty crazy things. And as it sits right now, I'll lose my bet about Khaus being P2 every single race for the next 3 races, and extending that streak to 10 Grand Prix. And then, also, with that being said, Khaus will still be in mathematical contention for the championship. So right now, Khaus in that blacked out Williams, which looks so gorgeous on a night track. He is going to hold on, but Noah Huni now looking to make life for the championship leader difficult here, as Alpine still are on the hunt for that overall championship here at Rush. As it's going to be Uncle Morty now making his way, trying to chase down Sirakin here. DRS is enabled, but there's only 1 spot for DRS, and unfortunately it's not through the tunnel, as beautiful as that would be. It is going to be a mandatory 2-stop here in the Principality, as they go through the marina, coming up to swimming pool sector, where we can see somebody bin it if they are not too careful, a little too hasty. As Khaus has started to check out here, he does not want that P2 merchant status again. He wants to shed that reputation after 7 Grand Prix in a row. He's looking to finally get a P1 out of it all.
Yes, the tires, everyone but Paula now has opted to go onto the mediums for their first stint. Them, I want to say, going about 7 to 10 laps, given, of course, the driver and where the driver is sitting when that pit window does open up.
No, I will say that the tires are definitely more than capable of lasting longer, but it's not exactly the smart choice to really run, considering the fact that it is a mandatory two-stop here at Monaco. So I mean, you can run. I mean, in theory, because Monaco is not a very high tire degradation track, you could honestly probably run these tires to about the 30s, but there's really no reason to be honest. Even if it was a one stop,
Mhm.
you go about half race distance. So you'd want to go to say like lap 15, then switch onto the hards for the rest of it. But with it being a mandatory two stop, that will actually throw a wrench into the works. And what I was gonna say for my bold prediction, but my original bold prediction did come true, so I'm gonna choose a different one. I think that after tonight, the championship will still go on. I don't think TMT is a fantastic driver, but I think Khaus will do just enough to hold on to that championship prospect for at least one more round.
Some Wolfer. Sorry, I had to get the correct Aston, even though there's only two of them. Did go up the back of Milano in the hairpin and lose an end plate. And while you're in the middle of talking, still, I can't say I'm new to Rush anymore. I've been here for a relative half the season at this point, but the Bobby sends a move on the inside of the chicane, which is where you don't see moves happen very often, and that position gets traded back. So that was a very risky move that could have very easily ended up in a little tire dislocation from the car there for one of the Ferraris.
Indeed, and as Krojak takes a pit stop here on lap 5, he needed a new front wing, and he will go ahead and bolt on the hards. He'll probably go for 2 sets of hards, is what I imagine Krojak's strat now is going to go to be. The gaps have actually separated quite nicely here, but the thing about Monaco is that it is probably the biggest and heaviest track when it comes to strategy. Strategy is going to play the biggest factor on the night. And very good stuff here as we are riding on board now with the Red Bull of Dilby, who is trying to chase down Uncle Morty for that P5 position. Trying to break Red Bull into the top 5 as TMT Legend is closing in. Kung Bus now getting a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations in the Red Bull. And Kung Bus actually made quite a handful of positions here. He's up into P10, so very strong start for the Red Bull here as Dilby now comes into the pits. Krojak gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And, he must have done that through, must have locked up through Noville is the only place I think he could have got that penalty that early on.
Which corner is that way? I do not even have my track map up. What am I doing?
So for anybody who may not be familiar with Monaco, the Noville chicane is the chicane straight after the tunnel area of Monaco, like where TMT is going through. Right now, I think Krojak is about to park the car.
Oh! Gets a 10-second penalty for speed and has retired in the pits.
That is music to Alpine's ears, as their biggest rival has dropped a car here, and this overall championship, the biggest team championship in Rush, is looking to swing the way of the French manufacturer. It was Aston Martin last season, and it looks like Alpine might be able to get it done. Khaus is in the pits. This is going to be a crucial pit stop. Kung Bus is out. Paul and Hell is out. VSC is out. So
Oh!
that's a VSC. The
Chung bus is out. 2 cars.
thing they bend it into
You said
each
Paul and
other.
Hell. So Div 5's already breaking records. Not quite sure where they would have binned it. I didn't see that quickly. I was watching the cars go around in circles, and then I hear you going, there's a crash.
I didn't see where the crash
So
happened,
he didn't
but
get there in time.
I saw Paul and coming best DNF pretty much one right after the other, so I just kind of put 2 and 2 together. Now, it is very much possible, because I didn't see what happened. It is very much possible that they binned at the same time in 2 separate locations, unrelated incidents, but they were racing pretty hard against each other. So that is Kungabus and Paul and Hell out of the Monaco Grand Prix. And we have a VSC, and this... Oh, actually, you know what? Depending on the length of the VSC, TMT might be able to get a free pit stop here. It is a much cheaper pit stop.
And Roland gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car as we are back to racing now.
Yeah, Noah actually almost got the jump on TMT Legend there on the VSC restart. So that was almost Noah making TMT's life a bit more tricky. And as it's going to be interesting, Khaus has went for the undercut.
Oof.
I thought Khaus was about to bin it. I was about to say he was on the verge of doing anything to avoid that P2 merchant status. But if he DNFs, then unless TMT Legend DNFs too, then it'll be a championship for the Kick Sauber driver. But we're only on lap 8 out of 39, so quite a ways to go.
Yeah, as no, he is missing his front left end plate. I think that's the correct one. He is missing one. So doing very well to stick it to the back of TMT Legend. I know sometimes missing that end plate around Monaco can really affect your steering and your ability to keep it out of the walls.
Exactly that. And I mean, with Monaco is a track that is all about precision. Like last or not last week, a couple of weeks ago we were at the Red Bull Ring, where that was a track where it rewarded aggression. This track rewards the opposite, as Kungabus has disconnected, but he is already out, so that shouldn't be that shouldn't mess up the lobby, period. If he was host, it'd be a bit of a trickier one, but I feel like he did have a moment with Paul and Hell, I think. Khaus sets the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, as he's going to go ahead and continue on here. Just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who is tuning in right now for the Monaco Grand Prix. We still have a handful more left to go. Actually, we only got 1 more to go. We got Div 3 tomorrow night, and then we got the reserve program starting in Zandvoort. So that should be a good time nevertheless, as we go ahead and make our way through TMT Legend. He has been disconnected.
Oh. 1 second.
That is huge implications.
Come on, EA. Come on, EA.
Championship leader. Sorokin's gonna go. Oh, Sorokin's gonna look for a move, but here's the tricky thing.
He's got an invite.
And that is a unfortunate thing to fall. But yeah, I was about to say, even with the AI being a factor, that's gonna make things really, really tough for Sorokin to get through. If Sorokin just opts in for the undercut instead, so he's choosing a very different route. TMT is back into session. He's back into Sauber.
We have seen a disconnect ruin someone's race this week. So at least this time they're able to get back into the session very quickly within a lap.
Yeah, so now here's the thing though. Khaus is back up into P2. And he's actually well within pit stop range now of TMT. So TMT is going to have to really... Well, actually, here's the thing, because, like, even if you try to extend this stint, right? Even if you try to make that tire last, you got to make 2 stops anyway. It's not a 2-stop versus a 1-stop. A 1-stop is going to get you penalized. So, when that happens, I mean, your race is pretty much
I think a 1-stop gets you disqualified.
Case in point.
Not penalized.
I mean, the disqualification is a penalty, but yes, you do actually get outright disqualified, sent straight to the shadow realm with no points on offer, which would pretty much put Khaus right back in this championship title fight. He's already walking on a pretty thin rope here. He needs, if he just loses out by 8 points or more, then that championship is as good as gravy for TMT. But we're going to see here. TMT is going to make a pit stop. He'll actually come out behind, I think he comes out behind Dilby actually. Yeah, so I think TMT probably should have pitted in behind the VSC, to be honest. I think that would have at least saved him a little bit. But then again, still a pretty long race, still a long way to go here, Phoenix.
Yeah, and we almost had two cars bend it into each other again as one of the Astons went up the back of that. Well, I think it was Wiffer went up the back of Shining. I think it was in swimming pool. And whoopee, I got a bit scared for a front wing to go flying there.
Shining Swarm, he is missing that front left end plate, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble here. And it's going to put him right into the clutches of Bobby, who is trying to chase him down here for that P10 position. Or sorry, for that P9 position, trying to get out of P10 for Bobby. They're the last two drivers still left on that medium compound, that yellow walled tire, as they go to make their way through the tunnel. Riding on board now with Shining Swarm for a bit, then Bobby as they come to the Noville chicane. Hard on the brakes, and it's such a tricky chicane to navigate here at Monaco. I mean, we have seen people bend it here earlier on in the week. I think somebody in Div 1 actually bent it at the Noville chicane earlier on this week. And when you're learning Monaco, that is probably the one corner you're going to bend it at the most. It's going to be that one particular chicane. It's honestly, I'd say probably the hardest chicane on the track, really. Because swimming pool, if you get swimming pool wrong, you can maybe get a track limit violation, 3-second pen. You get Nova wrong, it's either 10-second or your tire is going to be at a very different orientation. You're going to be driving a Formula tricycle.
If you're unlucky, a bite, depending on how exactly. Because I know I've been taking two of my left tires off instead of just the one. So it all depends on that angle you do take in. As most of the races are now, drivers are very settled out, with only a few drivers being very close with the driver in front.
Yeah, we do see Sorokin trying to chase down Dilby to try to make it a Williams 1-2 to try to reinsert themselves into the overall constructors fight, but even then it's really just Alpines to lose at this stage of the Monaco Grand Prix. And here we go. It's going to be just fighting through the hairpin. It looks like Dilby actually might have had a bit of a snap coming through the hairpin, as now they come through the tunnel. And they're going to we're going to hear those V6 turbo hybrids roar their way through the tunnel. And Sorokin's going to close in that gap. He's going to close in, but here's the thing. There's one DRS zone that's on the start-finish line, which is probably the shortest straight on the racetrack. As they now make their way through swimming pool. This is the part where you can where almost everybody's going to get their track limit violations and their track limit pens. As they go ahead and go through. You can also get it in Saint-Devac, the first quarter, if you cut it too tight. Sorokin trying to close in the gap. He does have DRS, but once again, you really don't get a lot of time to utilize that DRS because it's such a short DRS straight.
Yeah, and it does make sense to have the DRS through that tunnel, but I don't think we will ever see. I don't think we'll ever see DRS through that tunnel in real life Formula One. And then I've realized this season doesn't have DRS. They've changed and updated all of their regulations.
Bobby gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and ooh, I think he actually just cut it straight into the wall. Yeah, he's missing a good chunk of that front wing. So Bobby's going to be in a bit of a tricky spot here at this stage of the Grand Prix. For just getting closer to about half race distance here on the night. And with that being said, it's going to be a tough one here for these drivers to manage their way on through. But yeah, we are getting close to that half race distance mark, so we're going to see the gaps start to really just spread out. And actually, I don't know if you guys have seen the rumors and news, but we are on the verge of getting a gameplay trailer for the F1 2026 DLC later on this month. It's expected that, at least according to some of the stuff I saw, so take this with a grain of salt, but it is going to be May 21st when we see our first look at the F1 2026 DLC gameplay.
Whether they actually release it, like tell us when it's getting released, or actually release a video is a completely different question. As I had a quick look through the field, there are 4 cars missing end plates, with one of them being Noah, is doing quite well to hold that position for the time being. Then I think it was I can't remember. All I know is both Milano and I think it was Bobby, who are now in the pits, did have damage to their front wing, so I believe they would have just got that changed.
I believe so, as well as actually now we're actually about to see traffic in play here as Khaus is now coming up to the back of Milano, who just came out of the pits. So Bobby is down a lap here, and Khaus needs to be careful navigating this traffic, because as a good old friend of mine from the U.S. likes to say, traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. In this case, it could taketh away an entire dang championship if Khaus and Milano get into it. So I'm actually going to be really curious to see how this one plays out. Bobby is out. Bobby has pinned it.
Bobby, I was watching that.
There's the stricken Ferrari.
I didn't see.
That was the stricken Ferrari that Dilby and Sorokin just sped past there. He binned it in an interesting spot before even entering swimming pool section. So, tricky stuff.
Yeah, that was I was not expecting to look up and see a car with a tyre sitting on top of it. Normally you find the tyres on the side of the car, not on top of the car.
Yeah, I agree. I agree there, Quicksilver. That is a weird spot.
Oh, the host has disconnected. I need an invite.
I'll get you one momentarily as we have a
Give it in a minute.
A 3-way battle here for the race lead, or not the race lead. I'm sure TMT, Sorokin, and Dilby wish he was the race lead, but this is for championship implications here. Are we going to see Sorokin become the Minister of Defense here? This is going to be the key thing. Sorokin now blocking TMT. Championship implications written all over this one, as they now make their way coming into the final 2 corners of the racing circuit. And I think the only way that TMT gets out of this is he needs to make an undercut. So that battle is simmered down ever so slightly. And I'm going to try to speedrun getting Phoenix a invite.
Don't yet. I'm still communicating with online services. My game, you can, but my game might.
Oh, wait a minute. Now this battle is going to get really, really intense here. We're battling through Monaco like it is the 1970s. And, Dilby keeps scaring me because he keeps getting so deep into the hairpin. And it looks like Sorokin was almost about to make a dive up to He almost makes that dive up into that P3 position, which would be very interesting. Because look at this. Sorokin still closing in to the back of Dilby. As Sorokin closes down, but look at TMT right there. He is looking. I spy with my little eyes a potential overtake opportunity. TMT is going to have to try to fight it, though. I think the big thing that kind of messed up TMT's race might have been not pitting under that VSC. That might have been the one thing that kind of threw his race all out of sorts. Sorokin now doing exactly what he needs to. As so far, the only driver who has done their second stop is Milano. Everybody else who is still in this race, whose car is still at least drivable, they still need to make their pit stop. TMT, though, getting really close with the walls there. So that is going to be a tricky situation for them as they make their way on through. I think. Oh, contact between the Williams and the Red Bull. Oh, that almost ended very badly for the both of them, but that is going to create a bit more time in between TMT Legend and Sorokin. Milano gets a 3-second penalty for track limits, and everything is kicking off here. Is Sorokin gonna make the dive onto the Red Bull? Not quite. 20 laps to go here. Officially getting into the halfway point. Shiny Piastri makes the pit stop now for Haas. He is the lone Haas vehicle on the track. He is going to go ahead and make that pit stop. We'll see if anyone else goes for a dive. Oh, Sorokin! He hits Dilby again. Dilby just decides, all right, I've had enough of this. He's going into the pits. Sorokin needs to be careful because he could end his race and maybe. Yeah, he just needs to just really be careful here as we begin. Well, as we're pretty much about to begin this second half of the. Well, we are in the second half of this Monaco Grand Prix here. Sorokin still trying to run away for this one, but the battle is definitely simmered down.
Yeah, we've seen thrills and we've seen spills with 4 cars spilling it into the walls.
Yeah, TNT looking a little wobbly coming through hairpin now. As I think things have calmed down just enough to get an invite if you're ready for one.
I've restarted twice and it's refusing to connect to the internet. So send me one and I will see if I can get the internet to work.
Hey,
I'll be showing us offline. I'll be offline.
We're going to try to get this done very, very quickly. I have so many friends on this friends list. Alright, there we go. Invite has been sent, and now back to the action area in Monaco. Fast lap is going the way of Noah Huney at the moment. So right now everybody is still trying to fight for position here. Oh, I swear I just saw an play almost fly off of TMT Legend's car. Dilby gets the move done on to Wufa. He is now another driver who has made that second stop. Milano also making his second stop. So now you're really just playing a game of high-speed chicken. Who is going to make that stop first? Who is going to go ahead and just make the pit stop? Because you got to make that second stop here in Monaco. Who's going to be first is going to be the question of the day. Khaus is the answer to that. He's going to go and make a pit stop here. So I'm curious to see what TMT does. Does TMT follow suit? No, he does not. He's going to try to stay out of it. So he's hoping that Khaus gets mired in traffic here.
Update, I have successfully connected to the internet. After a few restarts. So we'll see how quickly I can get back in and jump back with this trackside action.
Khaus now comes out about 4.5 seconds behind TMT. Now, for TMT, that's probably not at all what he would have hoped. He would have hoped that Uncle Morty would have at least been ahead to cause a bit of a headache for the Williams driver. But with that being said, I mean, winning a championship in Monaco would be probably an ecstatic feeling because you're winning it at the most historic Grand Prix of them all, aside from maybe Silverstone. But I mean, you're winning at one of the three parts of the Triple Crown of motorsport. Although it's really the only one you can do, to be honest, because unfortunately Indianapolis hasn't been in Formula One since 2006 or 2005, 2006, one of those 2 years. I think it was '06. But Noah's going to come into the pits, so we'll see where he comes out. He'll probably come out behind Khaus. What TMT needs is somebody to split himself and Khaus. That's what he needs, but he's not going to get that. As actually TMT is going to come into the pit, so no real need. So it looks like this championship's going at least until Zandvoort. As the Sauber makes a stop, he will come out. He'll come out in fourth, just behind Noah Huni. And yeah, oh, okay. Well, Phoenix is here now, so I thought that was somebody binning it. Not gonna lie. Uncle Morty.
Not yet.
Keyword. That's yet is that operating word there. So
I was in the lobby.
Taking a look now at the stops. The only drivers who still need to make that last pit stop is Sorokin, Wufa, and Cupro are the only drivers that have yet to make their second pit stop. So there we go. That is Uncle Morty still has that end plate damage. And what have you witnessed?
I am trackside. The game's taking its sweet time to catch up, but I am trackside again after EA's little disconnect. As Khaus picks up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, and while Khaus is in that probably painfully familiar P2, luckily the driver in P1 is his teammate who still needs to make a stop. So I think Khaus is finally going to free himself from the shackles of P2. And I will lose my little joke bet, but you know what? It's gonna be fine. It'll be okie dokie. As I mean, honestly, Khaus, he's not really put a foot wrong here tonight. He has definitely earned. He has earned this result here. He pretty much made the good strategy calls, and he pretty much just did exactly what he needed to do here tonight. But still about roughly 15 laps of racing to go here, Phoenix.
Yeah, and we have Uncle Morty is very close to the back of Woofer, but that seems to be the closest gap as Sorokin has pitted for his second stop here.
Oh, but look where that put him. That's gonna. Oh no, actually, that's gonna. TMT is actually ahead now.
Ooh. Probably not the pit stop they were expecting, or the result they wanted out of the pit stop. But all he can do now is try and make up that ground. He is on only 2 lap old. Oof. As a Ferrari rides the wall basically down to let that car go past, doesn't gain any damage, and keeps his wheels connected to the car, which is important. As there is someone not quite sure what that yellow was about.
Oh, side by side, Shining Swarm, Milano, and Shining Swarm gets on through. Das shining its way up in P9, and that is a good overtake there, but it looks like Milano's got some pretty substantial damage. Yeah, he's missing a chunk of that front wing on the left side. It looks like he's just missing a good amount of that arrow that is oh so important here at Monaco. And boy, oh boy, that was actually a very aggressive and very impressive pass there from Shining Swarm. But now here's the thing though, as it sits, the battle goes to Zanvort. As it sits, because remember, TMT has to outscore Khaus by 8 points or more. Right now, he's outscoring him not one bit. So, I mean, this is pretty much all to play for here in Monaco, but it looks like Khaus might have just done what he needed to keep these championship hopes alive, at least for one more week.
Yeah, as the championship battle is on fire for some of these divisions. And I'm not quite sure because I don't know the maths. That Ferrari almost takes out his wheels through the chicane. But I'm not quite sure. I don't know if there's any divs that have had that championship battle decided yet.
Oh, here we go. So rocking on the TMT. This is crucial. Oh, what was that V-Carb doing there? Whew. that V-Carb scared the crap out of me. It probably did for Sorokin and TMT Legend as well. I was riding on board with Sorokin, and suddenly it was a Milano just parked. Oh, that could have been championship defining, because it's 25 points for a race win here in Rush. If TMT did not score at all, that gap gets pretty much halved pretty much, because the gap is about 47 points right now. TMT would have lost a good chunk of that. He would have lost 25 points to Khaus, and this battle would probably actually would have went to Silverstone. So that was almost the Nicholas Latifi binning it in Abu Dhabi 2021.
And I'm gonna pretend I know what that crash is because I'm slowly catching up, but I am coming from nothing to everything. As Noah still is missing an end plate, so he must not be feeling it all too badly here.
Okay, so for context, for anyone who may be watching who may not be familiar with that incident, and it ironically involves a Williams. So, it was the closing stages of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I know it's the most notorious story probably in F1 at the moment. Hamilton and Verstappen tied on points coming into the season finale. Hamilton on the verge of getting that 8th world championship, that record-breaking 8th. And then towards the closing laps, Nicholas Latifi and Williams crashes into a wall. Safety car shenanigans later, Verstappen on fresh soft tires, Hamilton on old hards. Verstappen gets the pass on the final lap, wins his first ever world championship.
That fight. I know the fight, I just didn't know the context to the fight. Because I have got that piece of commentary, that battle they had.
Ooh, what is happening to Sorokin?
The last lap.
Sorokin is, sorry to cut you off there, Phoenix, but Sorokin has had a bit of a moment out, and he's dropping way back off of TMT.
Drives are getting, again, can't really say very punchy because the drives aren't very close to each other, with the exception of who is it that are close together?
Well, actually, really not anyone at this point. It's basically just a quality session now. This point.
It's a lapped car. It's a lapped car that's getting close, but the only things that are a bit bitey here this evening are the walls at the moment.
Yeah, so this is going to be, I mean, this is crucial in the championship, but as it stands, this fight is going all the way. Khaus is on a comeback or a championship fight back of the season here. He is trying to fight back. He got P2 7. Hold on. Somebody has made an oopsie whoopsie here, and it might have been Milano. I think I thought a safety car was about to come out. I saw the vision that a safety car just came out, which, whew. But as it sits at the moment, this title fight will at least go to Zandvoort. It will not be decided here in Monaco, as TMT needed to outscore Khaus by a by 8 points. And I did that math earlier. Actually, I did a lot of that math during the break that we had in doing the lobby reset. Fast up does go to TMT, so he will at least get 1 point, but he'll still lose a good handful of them. So, as it stands, title fight is going to Zandvoort for next week. And I mean, it is that time of the season. There's only 2 more weeks left after tomorrow. We only got 2 more rounds left of season 10, which is insane to say. Feels like the season just kind of has come and gone, really. Time flies when you're having a blast.
Yeah, I feel like China Reserve Program felt like yesterday, and now I'm sitting here going, there's only a handful of races left. Which is, well, time flies when you're having fun. Most of the time.
Sorokin is starting to eat away at that gap to TMT Legend, but I mean, at this point, the job has already been done for the most part, because even, let's say Noah Huni bins it, right? Let's say, that's a commentator's because they're going to feel terrible, but say that happens, right? And let's say Khaus gets a penalty. There's still 16 seconds between them. So, Khaus would have to do a generational bottle to pretty much to give TMT a title tonight. So
yeah.
So this one goes all the way.
But I have seen pens flip a race upside down before. Like, you have like your top 2, everyone else has got pens, but then the winner gets a pen on the last corner of the last lap. And I think someone in like P5 managed to end up win the race due to the pens ahead of them. So you can never know what happens. It's Monaco, so a race can flip upside down in a matter of seconds.
And that's one of the beautiful things about racing through the Principality here. Especially with it being a champion, like, what could be a championship decider, depending on how everything is sitting, right? I mean, it's going to be, I mean, granted, Monaco is not an overtaking track by any stretch. We're not going to be breaking any overtake records here in the Principality. I'm just going to say that right now. But the fact that you're always driving on the bitter edge of these cars, the fact that you're always fighting, the car, you're fighting, just doing everything that you can on a track that requires so much concentration, especially with it being a night race, that kind of breaks convention, kind of breaks what you're used to with temperatures and stuff of the sort. It is a cooler track at this stage, but one thing that has not cooled down is the battle between Sorokin and TMT, as it is back to being a raging battle here. While the track temperatures might be cool, this one is a fiery volcano of activists. Sorokin is pushing. He is pushing it. I wouldn't be surprised if he has that song, push it real good, blasting through his headset as he's trying to catch up to TNT.
Yeah, and he does have a little bit of a slide, very minor, coming into the corner before the hairpin. So that would have hampered his time. He's now within a second of TMT Legend here.
Would you like to hear a crazy thing, Phoenix?
Oh no.
Sorokin he's missing an end plate on the right side.
Yeah, so whoa. What? And I think the tyre difference was only about 2 laps from memory. But that could also be a completely different battle I was thinking of. Catching up.
Here's the difference, though. Sorokin is using a ton of battery here. I mean, he is like, just looking comparatively, just looking at their steel wheels here, TMT has a good amount of battery still left. Sorokin is running, or at least by the time he hit this corner, he's running on fumes, or whatever the electrical equivalent of fumes are. Just running on mere amps as they continue to... Those joules aren't exactly mega anymore. As Connor is trying to chase down Wufa.
And apparently, according to Mars, missing a right side end plate in Monaco doesn't really affect much. Now, if you miss your left, that's when you have to pit very quickly because you start to struggle to steer.
Indeed, 5 laps to go here in the Principality of Monaco. And as it sits right now, the championship will continue on. The championship still may go the way of Williams here. So this could be a very, very interesting championship fight here. I mean, it's interesting because we never really talk about championship fights in Monaco, really. Not often. But now we get to talk about...
No one binned it, but coming up into the first real sharp corner of Monaco, that has just zoomed past that McLaren, going too wide and approaching that corner very quickly, but managed to get it single file before they hit the apex.
Yep, sounds like something that Shiny Piastri is going to do. He did it earlier today, actually. I think he did on one of the Ferraris earlier on, so he's trying to make the most. And actually, he's a pretty solid contender driver today because he started from 16th and he's up into 9th now. So we'll take a look at these as there's about 4 laps to go here in the Monaco Grand Prix. Just going to take a look at the positional gains here from these drivers. So Shining Swarm, 99% chance of getting a driver today here. He does have 7 positions gained. And ooh, if you do not have a subscription right now, you are hating life at the moment because it is actually a pretty tasty looking McDonald's ad I'm seeing on my end. But Sorokin is still true. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's a terrible time for an ad. TMT Legend has been EA'd. Oh.
The car looked horrible through that hairpin, and I thought I saw a tire dislocated, and I lost it. And he's got another invite, but holy, that could have ended so badly for both of the drivers. Holy.
Shambles. This is shambles.
TMT's back.
Absolute shambles at the moment for TMT Legend. Oh, he's going for the fastest lap point now. He's going to try to make sure he's going to do what he can to close in that gap. But TMT Legend, with 3 laps to go, it is all unraveling for the Sauber. Oh, brother. This cannot get any more insane.
I'm pretty sure, I swear I saw that car going up onto 2 wheels in the hairpin. And somehow all 4 tires and the wing is still attached to the car.
He is bolted on a set of mediums. He's going to go for that fastest lap attempt here at Monaco. He's going to try to call back at least one of those points. I mean, you might as well. You got to go all in for the championship. As they continue to just make their way through the Principality. And Phoenix, I'll let you take the penultimate lap that we're about to start. Khaus has to slide through the final corner, and I'll take the last lap. Over to you.
Okay, Khaus, who has seemingly just run off into the distance so far here at Monaco, and will hopefully put The P2 mentioned allegations to us as Dilby picks up himself a 3-second time penalty. Noah Huni's still doing very well. Wax the wall a bit there. Still missing an end plate. Has, I think, missed an end plate for a majority of the race, but he must not be feeling it too bad. Then Sorokin, who's managed to get himself up into P3 by quite a large margin after TMT had to pit, and no battles, but just Khaus in Khaus's mind, it will be keep clean, keep it out of the walls, inside the white lines, because who knows how many penalties he is on. He's flying, having the race of his life as Noah Huni get very close to putting it in a wall, coming through swimming pool, but Khaus, wrong way, is now coming through that final corner for the second to last time. Back to you.
Alright, so here we go. It is now time for the final lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. As we do see. Now, here's the thing, though. If Khaus gets a penalty, that is going to be P2 because Noah is within that 3 seconds here on the lap. And this is going to be a true battle to witness here. Khaus has got to keep it clean. That's all he needs to do. Either way, the championship goes live, at least until Zandvoort. As it is going to be Team T Legend getting the fastest lap. So claw one of those points back with a 1:12.967 as they continue on here. Noah is really starting to close in this gap. Khaus is really trying to play it nice here. Play it smooth. Play it safe. If Khaus gets a penalty here at any stage, it is Noah's race to win. Noah's really closing that gap, and if he had another lap, he might have been able to send it here. But Khaus, he's coming through the swimming pool for the final lap here. Unless somehow the EA decides to not throw him a bone, but he is going to keep it on. P2 Merchant no more. Khaus wins the Monaco Grand Prix. He can finally shed that reputation. The battle goes to the Netherlands. It is a double Williams podium. And the championship continues to the championship continues to rage on here. TMT had a podium on the cards, but unfortunately got hit with EA-isms. But it is finally no longer P2 purgatory for the Williams man. The only driver left in this championship fight in Division Numero 5 as we get ready to chat with our top 3 plus driver of the day. But in the meantime, Khaus finally dropping that P2 merchant status. He can change that P2 to a P1.
Yeah, that race had thrills, it had spills, and very interesting moments that almost made both of us lose it.
As the celebrations will go live. It's gotta be weird for Khaus to stand on that P1 spot instead of that P2 spot. That's gonna be very...
Khaus got driver of the day, too.
Wow, spoiler, why don't you? As we go ahead.
I don't watch the podium presentations.
Well, the champagne is gonna spray, and it's very well-earned champagne for these drivers. And as a fun fact, if you win the Monaco Grand Prix in real life, you actually go to a special dinner with the Prince of Monaco. Fun fact. So here are the results, and here are the superlatives. TMT Legend fastest lap driver today is Khaus. Most overtakes is Dilby, with Wufa being the cleanest driver on the day. So here are the results here. It is going to be Khaus keeping that championship hope alive. Ahead of Noah, Sorokin, TMT Legend, who will have to try to fight again in his home country to try to get a win. Uncle Morty, Dilby, Wufa, Connor, Shining Swarm, Roman Wood Kenobi, Kupro, Milano, and then the retirements of Bobby, Parnell, Kungbus, and Krojag rounding out the field here tonight. So That is an interesting end to a very hectic Monaco Grand Prix. And we're going to just go ahead
Yeah.
and just kind of get the driver's thoughts as we're still waiting on a few of them. But Phoenix, give us your summary of that Grand Prix we just witnessed.
Well, I wasn't there for most of the quali. I wasn't there for a hunk of the race. So from what I saw, it was really um it was there were some moments where everyone was keeping it within the white lines, out the walls, behaving themselves. But there were moments when the cars were doing some very interesting things that could have ended very, very, very badly.
Yeah, indeed, you are correct there. So it's going to be a interesting time here. We're still waiting on one interviewee, but in the meantime, actually, we can go ahead and actually, I don't think we're going to get to rocking. So, Phoenix, I'm going to go ahead and let you take the first interview away with our driver, who was P2 Noah. Over to you.
Okay, Noah, how did you enjoy that? I want to say very, very interesting Monaco Grand Prix.
It was good. And it's very boring. Pace was there, just a little bit off the pace, but I think towards the end, that was definitely that pace was there. But overall, very boring race. It was on my own pretty much the whole time except the start, um, first few laps. But overall, I'm pretty happy. So
Yeah, and I saw you were driving with a missing M plate for quite a fair time here tonight.
yes, I did get that about lap two, I think. So it didn't cost me too much. Um, which is thankful up until the end where I got a little bit more and play damage. But overall, didn't affect me too much.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I'll pass it over to Rekus if he has any further questions or comments.
All right, Mr. Noah. Very good points for Alpine, as you guys are still in the hunt for the overalls and the Constructors' Championship here in Div 5. How do you feel about getting a P2? And you were chasing Khaus down there at the end.
Yeah, it was feels really good after last week's result. Getting a P4 after staying in pole was just not great in the wet, but overall, really happy. Good points for the team, the lads. We are definitely. I think we've done good all week as well. With Div 1, 2, and 4. So just keeping that gap down with Mercedes. Obviously, in overalls, we did score a fair few good points tonight against Williams as well. So it's good, good points for the team. Really, yeah, really happy.
We got 2 rounds left to go of the championship here. It is going to be Zandvoort and Silverstone left on the calendar. How do you feel about those two tracks in particular?
Zandvoort, I haven't done too much, but overall is a pretty decent track for me. Silverstone, I don't really like too much, but um, it's not the worst track I've ever done. So not overall, not too bad. So yeah.
And then I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions. One's a bit of a more of a fun question that I'll ask everybody here tonight. As we already kind of start looking forward to season 11, what track are you looking forward to seeing on the calendar next season?
I mean, I think you can tell by the flag on my profile picture, but definitely Brazil. I do hope it is on there. It's always a good track. I've been decent. I've had a few unlucky performances there as well. But overall, really good, really fun tracks that I enjoy. I feel like my pace is strong there. So yeah, definitely Brazil.
Feels weird that I actually kind of missed the fact that we didn't actually have Brazil on the calendar this season. It feels like it's kind of like Spa and Austria where they're almost all and Monza too. It's like where they're almost always on the calendar. It feels weird not to have it sometimes. But last question before I go ahead and let you go here. Is there anybody you would like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
As per usual, Vettel, he's just really good engineer, getting me all the info that I need throughout the race. Morty as well, great teammate, really good guy. Lastly, Night Eshe for cheering me on for parts of that race. But yeah, just those three names, really good people.
All right, well, congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you next week in the Netherlands.
Thank you very much. Good night, guys.
All right, so we're gonna take a step back. We're gonna talk with the TP of Williams, who is standing in for Sorokin in the interview. And I'm just gonna go ahead and take this one away real quick. And I mean, Dito, you guys kept that championship up alive and got a double podium out of it. How do you feel?
Yeah, man. I mean, pretty stoked. Obviously, we did really, really well. Sorokin, obviously TMT, really unlucky there in the end with the disconnect. But yeah, he was hunting him down in the end there. But I don't know, man. I don't know how we did it. It was a lot going on tonight. Obviously, the straight was the big one, and the two stop really curved things up a bit. And yeah, it was all about the undercuts that paid off. And yeah, couldn't be happier, man. I'm really over the moon for both of the guys. Khaus has really worked really hard for this win, man. So he's done really well.
Yeah, and actually now he's still mathematically within the championship hunt still, and the hunt is at least gonna go all the way to the Netherlands. So how do you feel about that? Do you think Khaus has got a shot to try to take this title right out from TMT's nose?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how we go, but there's always a chance until it's over. But yeah, man, with performances like tonight, who knows? He really, really stepped it up tonight, delivered when he needed to, and obviously capitalised when it didn't really go to plan, unfortunately, for TMT. So he did everything he needed to do, and yeah, we'll just reset for next week. He's putting in a lot of work, so if anyone can do it, man, it'll be him.
Last question before I pass you over to Phoenix. What's the energy like in the Williams garage heading into the final 2 rounds of the season?
Yeah, huge, man. I mean, we're in a massive spot. Obviously, I think P1 in the ovals is over, but yeah, just compared to last season, we're in a really good spot in that podium contention for the overalls. So yeah, everyone's really buzzing, man, and looking forward to next season as well. So it's really good to see. But yeah, the energy is really high for this part of the season. It's really good to see.
All right, well, congratulations on behalf of Sorokin for that podium, and I'll pass you over to Phoenix if they have any other questions or comments.
Thank you, mate.
I don't, but it's a well done drive to Sorokin here this evening.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, last but most certainly not in P2, it is going to be Khaus. Phoenix, take it away.
How did you enjoy that race here this evening and being able to finally put that P2 merchant allegation to rest?
I'm not sure if enjoy is the right word, I'll be honest. I think I was pretty clear last week that I'm not a big fan of this track, but finally I got the win, so over the moon, man. It was tough. I won't lie. I had like flashbacks in my mind where I was in the same positions in previous races, and I'm like, oh, I'll probably buck on this lap at that point. Oh, I probably would have got a 3 second by now, but needed to just lock in, refocus, and just do what I need to do. And thank God, finally got the win. Thank God.
Yeah. Now, if you had to do this race again, would there be anything you will change?
Not rocking out probably. I hate this track, man. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan.
That's one way to avoid getting P2.
True. Not wrong there, Ruckus.
And I'll pass you over to Records if he has any further questions or comments.
Thanks, Phoenix. Appreciate it.
So, what does it feel like from the top step of the podium instead of the second step?
Yeah, it's a bit high up here, Ruckus, I'll be honest. It's a lot taller than P2, so It's not bad at all. Yeah, I'm glad that finally I got a clean weekend and I executed it the way I know I can. So yeah, stoked. I'm fortunate for TMT. He had a lot of issues. I feel really really gutted for him. Like that was tough. I know that obviously Sorokin was fighting him for the podium places. So um, yeah, not sure what happened to TMT. I know he DC'd twice, so it's a tough luck, man. And he got the fastest lap that could be crucial for the championship, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, crucially, he did. You did just enough to stay in this championship fight. He would have needed to outscore you by 8 points to win the title here. Obviously, he didn't outscore you at all, so the fight will continue. But the thing is he's going to be pretty much essentially on home turf next week, so it's going to be a bit difficult to. It might be a bit difficult, but how do you feel about Zandvoort coming up?
I think I need to say I hate this track record. I'll be honest. I think that seems like the way to remove the curse is just saying I hate every track. But, truthfully, I actually don't like Zandvoort. I'm not a massive fan of it. I just think it's just really tough to race on, and it's got lots of different types of braking zones. It's very hilly. I'm not a big fan of that. So, but obviously I'll still be there. I'll still race on it. I'll still be trying to be competitive and fight for this title to the end and push TMT to the edge. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, I'll go ahead and ask you just. I'll go about 3 more questions. So first question of that bunch. Would you like to know about the side bet that I had going about your P2 merchant status?
Oh god. Here we go. Yeah, let's go. Let's hear it. I want to hear this now.
If you managed to get P2, and it had to be this race, Zandvoort, and Silverstone, I was gonna buy a Williams shirt, whether it's a Rush one or an actual piece of Williams merch. I might still do that because Williams does have some pretty good merch, but
They do. They do have
that was
some
the
nice
bet I
ones.
had.
That's unreal. I love that, Records. I love that you're preying on my ability to not be able to win races. I appreciate that.
It would have been more funny than anything. But on to another fun question. This one is actually fun for all of us. What's the track you're hoping is on next season's calendar as season 11 approaches?
We've been recently doing I've been doing some practice on Spain for a different league, and I'll tell you what, I think that track needs to be on the calendar next season. That is a fun track to drive on, and there's a lot of room to race on. I think before the connotation of Spain, especially that last sector 3, felt like it was just like it was a bad track to race on. But I think with the improvements that they've done, obviously now in the game, it's just a way better track to race on, and I think it's super fun, super fast. Very, very technical and very hard to figure out, especially for a setup perspective, because tire wear can be quite high. So I think it's a great track, and I think it needs to be on the calendar next season.
Yeah, it's another one of those kind of staple tracks. I will agree. Kind of like how Noah was talking about Brazil being on the calendar next season. Obviously, the only thing I know about the next season's calendar is that it will have racetracks, and the Nürburgring is probably not going to be there. That's all I know so far. But last question. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go here?
It has to be Dito. I think without him being switched on to the tire strategy, I mean, we have the discussion pretty much every race before we jump in, like what laps we're looking at, when we're gonna look to pit, how's this gonna feel the tire wear. But Dito was so switched on tonight, got it absolutely spot on. I disagreed with him on the second stint, but he was adamant that I should do 21, and we did it, and I think it was definitely the right call. So thank you, Dito. Shout out once again, here every week, busting your ass, love your work, and yeah, obviously my teammate as well. Drove a fantastic race to get on the podium places. Wish we had him last week as well to help in the constructors fight, but still good to have him on the podium with me. So fantastic work to Sorokin.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on the win, and we will see you next week in Zandvoort.
Thank you, and of course, last shout out to you two. You guys do great work. You're here week in, week out, so well done, and thanks, guys.
All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here in Rush Racing League Div 5 for Monaco. Div 5 will no longer be doing street tracks here this season, as Monaco was the last one. But Phoenix, any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this one up?
Well, Div 5 brought us our first VSC. We can almost always rely on Div 5 to bring in something.
All right, well, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here in Monaco. It has been a fun weekend here in the Principality. We still got one more round to go. It'll be myself and Dur bringing you the action for Div 3 tomorrow
No,
night, so be
it's
sure
not
to
Dur.
tune in. Oh, did it get switched? On the schedule still says Dur.
Dur never was going to do it. Oh,
Interesting. Anyways, so
anyway.
it'll be myself and one other person bringing you the action in Monaco. So, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Massive shout out to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagnian Advanced Simulation. You guys are all awesome. And of course, obviously, I gotta thank my favorite group of people here. The guys in the Twitch chat, week in, week out, providing some good insights, good entertainment, good laughs, and reacting with us every step of the Monaco Grand Prix. On behalf of Phoenix, my name is Red Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and we have been your hosts and commentators through tonight's action. Tomorrow, Div 5, and then we begin the work on the penultimate race week of Rush Racing League Season 10. I'm already thinking about Season 11. Season 10 in Zandvoort. Stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.